This episode of the PDB is brought to you by Patriot Gold Group. Protect your retirement assets. Protect your future. Talk to the experts at Patriot Gold. They've been the top-rated gold IRA dealer for 7 years in a row. That's a lot of years in a row. Go to patriotgoldgroup.com or call 1-888-621-3856 for a free investor guide. It's Monday, 1 July. Oh, look at that. It's the beginning of a brand new month. Welcome to the PDB Afternoon Bulletin. I'm Mike Baker, your eyes and ears on the world stage. Let's get briefed. First, as fighting intensifies between Israel and Hezbollah militants in Lebanon, Iran is now threatening to use their regional proxies to wreak havoc on Israel through a, quote, obliterating war. Well, that's no surprise. That has been the objective of the mullahs and the IRGC for a long time now. At least they're being open about it. Also, U.S. military bases across Europe have been placed on high alert amid concerns that terrorists are planning attacks against U.S. military personnel and facilities. But first, our afternoon spotlight. With the threat of war looming between Israel and Hezbollah, Iran is significantly ratcheting up their threats against Jerusalem, promising to hit Israel from all sides using their regional proxy militias. As listeners to the PDB know, the situation along Israel's northern border with Hezbollah militants in Lebanon has rapidly deteriorated over the past few weeks and appears poised to further devolve into a full-scale conflict. The warning from Iran came in the wake of a series of retaliatory strikes on Friday by the Israel Defense Forces, the IDF, that hit several Hezbollah positions. That strike was a response to a massive aerial bombardment of Israel by Hezbollah involving dozens of rockets. In a statement on X, the Iranian mission to the UN said, quote, Iran deems as psychological warfare the Zionist regime's propaganda about intending to attack Lebanon. Should it embark on full-scale military aggression, an obliterating war will ensue. All options, including the full involvement of all resistance fronts, are on the table, end quote. Well, Israeli leaders were quick to hit back at Iran's saber-rattling. Foreign Minister Israel Katz said Saturday, quote, if Hezbollah does not cease its fire and withdraw from southern Lebanon, we will act against it with full force until security is restored and residents can return to their homes. A regime that threatens destruction deserves to be destroyed, end quote. Iranian officials' line about resistance fronts is a reference to Iran's so-called axis of resistance in the Middle East, which involves Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas in Gaza, the Houthis in Yemen, and assorted militant groups in Syria and Iraq, known collectively as the Islamic Resistance. Now, axis of resistance is simply the Iranian regime trying to put lipstick on a pig. They've actually built an axis of terror, not resistance, with the stated genocidal goal of wiping Israel off the map. The U.S. has been warning Israel about the threat posed by these regional militias, fearing they will eagerly join in the fight if Israel moves to invade Hezbollah positions in Lebanon. And frankly, I doubt Israel needs the U.S. administration's help in understanding the threat that the proxies pose. So it appears that Western hopes for a diplomatic solution are quickly evaporating. As the rhetoric escalated this weekend, well, so did the attacks. On Sunday, a Hezbollah attack using an explosive-laden drone on an IDF military position in the Golan Heights injured 18 Israeli soldiers, leaving at least one with serious wounds. Israel responded with several aerial operations, striking numerous Hezbollah targets in southern Lebanon where Hezbollah militants had gathered. So far, the fighting along Israel's northern border has resulted in at least 10 civilian deaths for Israel, as well as the deaths of 15 IDF soldiers and reservists. At least 356 members of Hezbollah have been killed in the skirmishes. It's also forced more than 100,000 Israelis to evacuate their homes in the north. Israeli leaders, for their part, have said that while they were committed to a diplomatic solution, Hezbollah's aggression is making that increasingly difficult. Hezbollah, meanwhile, appears almost eager for a larger conflict, vowing to escalate their attacks until there's a ceasefire in Gaza. With that in mind, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu said last week that the intense phase of the war against Hamas was beginning to wrap up, and that the military was preparing to shift their primary focus to Lebanon to deal with the Hezbollah threat. Senior commanders in the IDF also recently announced that the military had approved operational plans for an offensive in Lebanon increased the readiness level of their troops, and begun relocating resources and troops to the north. Coming up after the break, U.S. military bases across Europe have been placed on high alert amid heightened concerns that they could be the targets of terrorism. We'll look at that developing situation when we return. I'll be right back. Welcome back to the Afternoon Bulletin. U.S. military bases in Europe have been put on heightened terror alert as installations urge service members to remain vigilant. This proactive stance follows the elevation of the force protection threat level to condition Charlie at multiple installations, indicating a credible risk of attack. The military employs a tiered force protection condition system with levels ranging from normal, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta. And of course, Delta being the highest state of alert when a terrorist attack has occurred or one is imminent. According to the Army's website, Charlie is implemented when, quote, an incident occurs or intelligence is received, indicating some form of terrorist action or targeting against personnel or facilities is likely. Now, this is the highest threat level seen in at least a decade. The heightened alert comes amidst ongoing global security concerns, particularly in the wake of the 7 October Hamas attack on Israel and the ISIS attack on a Moscow concert hall. Over the weekend, U.S. European Command, EUCOM, issued a community-wide terror alert for bases across Germany. This includes the Army's Rhineland-Pfalz facility and Ramstein Air Base, which form the largest U.S. military community overseas. As a precaution, some service members have been instructed to wear civilian clothing while they're off base. The alert further extends to installations in Romania, Bulgaria, and Italy, with Aviano Air Base implementing enhanced security measures. The Pentagon says, quote, due to a combination of factors potentially impacting the safety and security of U.S. service members and their families stationed in the European theater, U.S. European Command is redoubling its efforts to stress vigilance during the summer months, end quote. The elevated threat level has led to the curtailment of non-essential personnel, with many employees working remotely. U.S. officials have been raising alarms about increased terrorism threats, with FBI Director Christopher Wray, as well as the CENTCOM commander, noting a significant rise in foreign terrorist threats since the brutal 7 October Hamas attacks, which kicked off the current conflict in the region. European nations have also been on heightened alert since gunmen in March killed nearly 150 people outside a Moscow concert hall, an attack claimed by ISIS-K. While the specific intelligence behind this alert remains classified, the increased security measures obviously indicate the seriousness and credibility of the intel. And that, my friends, is the PDB Afternoon Bulletin for Monday, 1 July. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me at pdb@thefirsttv.com. And as always, if you'd like to listen to the show ad-free, well, be sure to check out our premium membership at pdbpremium.com. I'm Mike Baker. I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, stay informed, stay safe, stay cool.